let's do exercise 9G, independent events. So we're going to see two events are independent if they follow this rule. The probability of A intersect B is equal to the probability of A times by the probability of B. So if they're the same, it's independent. If they're not the same, then they're not independent. So when you're asked a question about independent events, you need to make sure that you give an answer that uses this formula. So let's have a look at an example. So we've got the social media question again. So we'd think they weren't independent. That would be sort of my gut feeling, because I'm thinking age and whether they use social media should be related. Remember, the book's a bit old, before older people used it. So what have we got? We want to find is regulars independent of age. So I'm going to see is less than 25 years old and yes uses social media. What's that equal to? So yes and less than 25 is 200 over 500, which is 2/5. So now I'm going to look separately. What is the probability less than 25? So how many people are less than 25? We have got 240 out of 500. And how many are yes to social media? That's this one, 300 out of 500. So if we do the probability of less than 25 times the probability of yes, we get 240 over 500. Times by 300 over 500. And if you do that, it's 0.288, and this is 0.4. So is regular use of social media independent of the respondent's age? You would say not independent. And why is it not independent? Because the probability of less than 25 intersect yes is not the same as the probability of less than 25 times yes. So don't sort of talk about, oh, younger people use more social media or any of that. Just use the maths. That'll prove the point. This one here, I can't be bothered doing the second one because they're kind of the same. So let's have a look. Experiment consists of drawing a number at random from numbers 1 to 8. So I've got 8 of these. A's got 4, B's got 4. Are A and B independent? So what we're saying is the probability of A intersect B equal to the probability of A times the probability of B. So what is A intersect B? What's in both A and B? 1, 3, and that's it. So 2 out of 8. What's the probability of A? Well, that's 4 out of 8, and the probability of B is 4 out of 8. So that's 16 out of 64, which if we divide by 8, that's 2 out of 8. Oh my God. Yes, they are independent, because in this case, A times B equals the probability of A intersect B. So let's look at one more, and I think this is our last one. The probability a family owns a television set is 0.75, and the probability they own a station wagon is 0.25. If these events are independent, so if probability of S intersect T equals probability of S times the probability of T, okay, then I know that S intersect T must be 0.75 times 0.25. And if you calculate that, it's 0.1875. So if I go to set up a two-way table, I'm going to have television or don't have a television. I'm going to have a station wagon or don't have a station wagon. And then we know it adds to 1. S intersect T is 0.1875. Probability of T is 0.75. Probability of S is 0.25. So I can fill in the remaining values, 0.25, 0.75. I'm going to get my calculator out for this and write 0.5625, 0.0625, and 0.1875. Just to make sure that all the rows and the columns add up together. And you can do that from previous questions, or you could probably figure it out now. So a family is chosen at random and they own both a television and a station wagon. So that is the 0.1875, which is really what we found out here. So you know what? I might pop A as that saves. I might pop A over here. And then find my answer to B. Families chosen at random. What's the probability they own at least one of these items? So they can own a television or a station wagon. So we could use our formula where we said that's the probability of T plus the probability of S minus the probability of S intersect T. And I'm sure that would work. I don't like doing it that way because I always think, what's the probability that they own at least one? So the only people that don't own at least one of these, because they have no television and no station wagon, the poor things, so they have a 1 minus 0.1875 because they are the ones that don't own either. It's no S and no T. So if you work that out, it's 0.8125. So T or S is basically the opposite. It's all of this and all of this, so it's not that. So go ahead now and do 9G, please.